This week on Earth Radio, the Trump administration goes against the rules of the Endangered Species Act. Italy delays the closure of coal-fired power plants, and more stories affecting the climate. I'm your host, Rebekah Hendricks, and this week we're starting off with some good news. At the end of last year, renewable energy made up almost half of the world's power capacity. Power capacity is a projection of how much energy a power source has the potential to generate if the conditions are right. For solar panels, think sunny days. For wind turbines, think big gusts of wind. This is a record high for renewable energy sources and shows that many countries around the world are dedicated to expanding the use of renewable energy. Many countries really invested in solar energy. The vast majority of the 692 gigawatts of renewable energy capacity added in 2025 was solar energy. While this is a great sign that we're building more sustainable energy sources, in 2024, renewable energy actually only made up 32% of the energy generation, despite renewable energy capacity being higher than that. This is mostly because of the biggest energy guzzlers being the shipping industry. Large trucks, ships, and planes still rely on fossil fuels. Because this industry has yet to go electric, it will likely be a long time until we see renewable energy rise to its full capacity. Despite this rise in renewable energy, many countries are doubling down on their fossil fuel use. The Trump administration waived the rules of the Endangered Species Act in order to drill for oil in the Gulf of Mexico. Since 1973, this law has been protecting animals and ecosystems from human interference, particularly government interference. It required that the government ensure that their actions did not threaten endangered species before embarking on a project. However, this week the Trump administration gathered the Endangered Species Committee, known as the God Squad, to give an exemption to their oil drilling project. This name seems kind of hyperbolic, but the committee quite literally decides whether or not endangered species are worth protecting from extinction or not, deciding if they live or die. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth said that this is necessary to power the war with Iran in the Middle East. So many beloved sea creatures are threatened by this project, though. Sea turtles, manta rays, sharks, and America's most endangered whales, Rice's whales, are all under threat. Italy is also doubling down on non-renewable energy. Italy's plans to shut down their coal-fired power plants has been delayed by 13 years. The lower house of parliament voted to keep these plants open to address the energy crisis caused by the Iran war. But the closure of these plants was already behind. They were meant to be closed by the end of last year, according to the goals set in the National Energy and Climate Plan created by the European Union. Coal is a super cheap fuel, but the financial benefit comes at an environmental cost. Coal is the dirtiest fossil fuel, pumping the air full of carbon, nitrogen, and soot. While it may seem like many countries may not have a choice in the midst of this energy crisis, not all governments are turning to drilling for more oil or mining for coal or burning it. Countries with robust renewable energy infrastructure have nearly avoided the crisis entirely. The United Kingdom is putting their wind power to work, setting record high wind energy output and veering the country away from volatile fossil fuels. The Environmental Protection Agency is facing a lawsuit from health and environmental groups after the agency pulled restrictions of mercury, lead, and other air pollutants from coal-fired plants. The American Academy of Pediatrics and the Environmental Law Policy Center are among several groups suing the agency, arguing that heavy metal pollutants are harmful, particularly mercury that can cause brain damage. The lawsuit also calls for the agency to reinstate rules for power plants to monitor their own pollution output. These standards were first put in place by President Obama, and they have successfully reduced the amount of mercury in the air by 90% since then. Without these regulations, mercury will not just be in the air we breathe, but the soil that our food grows in and the water that fish swim in. The groups feel that ultimately these repeals go against the EPA's stated mission to protect human health and the environment. If you want to learn more about the stories covered in today's episode, check out the full articles published on earth.org and linked in the show notes. Earth Radio is produced, edited, scored, and written by Rebekah Hendricks. This week's stories are reported by Martina Egini. Earth.org is supported by listeners and readers like you. Visit our website to donate to our climate coverage. Have a great week.